Hi everyone, I am Esther McMorris from 9 Feet Tall. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Jeremy Bales from Diageo, and today we're going to talk about Portfolio Management Office.
There's a couple of aspects to that. I think first is to appreciate that there are multiple methodologies and they are different. Having an understanding is absolutely necessary, and you have to allow them to coexist positively. So don't try and apply one treatment for one methodology to another. Classically with agile and waterfall, I'm sure many sort of agile portfolios, particularly early on, get waterfall practices being applied to them, and that will just serve to antagonize and to distance people from it and challenge your adoption. So you have to come up with, as well as understanding that they're different, you have to come up with different treatments that can sit together in one portfolio process. So the processes, particularly around governance, have to be able to operate on a sort of methodology agnostic basis. So what are we really asking? It's back to that word investment again. Can we continue to invest in this product line, value stream, or program and project? It's about that investment appraisal and the prioritization at that point in governance, irrespective of where it's come from. There will be some things that I think you need to ask yourself to be able to work out which way to go as well. So it shouldn't necessarily be the initiative that decides themselves that we're going to run agile or some hybrid or waterfall or whatever. It has to be part of the governance process as well. So I think we have to be sensitive to the sort of things that normally appear in a traditional PID, in a waterfall initiation document, but considering levels of ambiguity and risk and the amount of stakeholders, risk in terms of the corporate commercial entity as well. I think it's important to consider all of those and then decide what's the appropriate methodology and then have a way of dealing with it. So it's methodologies, not methodology, and even within that, as you said earlier about the tiering, so having the right route through is really important.
Yeah, it's the coexisting piece, I think, that really hits home. Have you found within Diageo that there's blended methodology, that it might start off in one and it morphs to the other, or there's kind of a hybrid being adopted in one, and does that cause any more challenges?
I think it does, because there's so many hybrids. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of familiarity with agile development practices, that you might have people describing their delivery as agile, but they're operating within stages and gates. Yes. So they're only really developing or sprinting development. I think you have to sort of acknowledge that hybrid A is different to hybrid B, hybrid C, and it's probably all a bit of a melting pot, really. I think it's the challenge is back to that sort of level of control that you want to have across the portfolio, right sizing it and so on as you go. But if the fundamental about the portfolio management office, but actually generally project professionals, is about monitoring and controlling progress and being able to describe where we are and delivering the value that was promised, then it's okay to work in a certain way if we can deliver that ability to control things. And if we can't, then we need to change. And I think we have seen things change. I'm sure I will see things change again from one method to another, just to re-establish the control mechanisms where appropriate.
Yeah, and I guess it's not just that, it's not just the methodologies. I guess your portfolio of change will continue to morph, and there'll be new plans and things will drop off. How do you build in flexibility, or how do you allow for the portfolio and the methodology and all the things around it to change, and while still delivering what you need to deliver?
I think it's about liberating people to do their job. So for me, there's a mindset piece around this. Process flexibility is important, but it can't be a free-for-all. So we need to define processes in such a way that people can interact with them, but it doesn't tell them how to do their job, and it provides the ability for the how to be decided by the individual doing it at the time. but whether I do it or not is not optional. It's just how. And accepting that there will be some things that we do want to have mandated processes around, mandated templates, you know, or a consistent way of working. Just having heavyweight processes can be real barriers to progressing, and I know some people can find them sort of quite suffocating and difficult. So bearing in mind the responsibility, the fundamental responsibility, we can't remove everything, but we can give them a bit of a route through, and remove some of that suffocating, controlling elements of processes that I don't think add any value. Yeah, and I'm just thinking in terms of flexibility of the organisation as well. So as a portfolio team, we ought to be able to focus on the priorities. So that might mean that we focus, you know, more on certain problematic areas and less on others, as well as the tiering of the projects. And we should be making sure that the PMO, as well as the projects, all focus on the value delivery proposition and make sure that that's looked after.
Perfect. Well, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you this afternoon, Jeremy. So
Likewise.
thank you for your time. Thank you for all of those that are listening, and hope you have a good rest of the week.